Hello. All right. Before we get started with the actual video, I just want to put a disclaimer out there that I am a health physicist, a rad engineer, so I don't really deal a whole lot with the fire protection side of things. I deal with mostly radiation. This script was put together based on assumptions and observations I've made since I've been on the Hanford site since about 2021-ish. All right. Now let's go to the video. Uh, so, opening introduction to in the Hanford context. Hello, City Council members. I am Blake Werner. I am a firefighter serving a unique community here at Hanford. Thank you for joining me today as I share how we prevent fires in our industrial type jurisdiction, known for its critical role in national history, national security, and ongoing nuclear cleanup. A brief history on Hanford. Hanford was established in the 1940s as part of the Manhattan Project to produce plutonium for nuclear weapons. While we no longer make these bombs, our mission has shifted to environmental cleanup, including constructing new facilities to vitrify nuclear waste, turning waste into glass. Many of our original structures, built decades ago, don't meet modern codes that newer facilities today are created to. And this poses a unique fire safety challenge. Jurisdiction overview. Our area is dominated by industrial facilities, primarily, from my observations, type 1 and type 2 construction. So those are fire-resistant concrete and steel building facilities. However, some older facilities are outdated and contain disabled fire suppression systems due to the age, requiring us to frequently verify the fire loading and the amount of the combustible materials to ensure low risk of fire or fire spread. So the purpose in this video, I'll explain how we use education, enforcement, and engineering, also known as the 3 E's, to prevent fires, how we enforce codes, and how we address unsafe structures to protect our community and from fire and radiation risks. So, section 1, the 3 E's of fire prevention. We'll go over education first. Education is the cornerstone of fire prevention. At Hanford, workers receive regular training at industrial facilities, and we have a specialized facility called, it's a Hammer facility, where a lot of our other special trainings occur as well. But back to this, focusing on safe handling of hazardous materials, like the chemicals and radioactive substances, which are common here at Hanford. We also engage facility managers through workshop, operational drills, teaching them to recognize these fire hazards, maintaining clear exit paths, egress paths, and understanding the importance of functional fire suppression systems. For example, we emphasize proper storage to reduce fire loading, especially in older buildings with disabled sprinklers. We also encourage the use of metal furnishings, vice wood furnishings, for fire loading purposes as well. And not in the script, but prior to losing our fire suppression, our sprinklers in the facility we are in now, we would post our procedures on the walls. And now when we do our inspections, those procedures are no longer allowed to be there due to the fire loading concerns. Back to this video. Community outreach extends to contractors, subcontractors, and DOE personnel, ensuring everyone understands our unique risks, including radiation exposures from the fires. Fires do create airborne conditions that make radiation hazards worse. So enforcement ensures compliance with fire codes. Our fire department conducts rigorous inspections, checking for working alarms, extinguishers, and, where applicable, sprinkler systems. In facilities with disabled systems, we verify fire loading monthly to minimize fire spread risks. We issue corrective notices for violations and follow up to ensure that these violations have been corrected. For critical issues like blocked exits or excessive combustibles, we may restrict operations until these issues are resolved. Engineering. Engineering focuses on designing and maintaining fire-resistant structures. In Hanford, Type 1 and Type 2 buildings use concrete for the Type 1, steel for the Type 2. But older facilities lack these modern firewalls or updated sprinklers that you would see in modern facilities. We work with fire protection engineers to retrofit these systems where possible. For new facilities like those at the VIT plant, the vitrifying nuclear waste plant, we enforce codes through DOE contracts, ensuring state-of-the-art fire suppression and containment systems to protect against fire and radiation releases. Okay, let's explore how we enforce these codes across Hanford's unique landscape. So now we'll talk about code enforcement at Hanford, how codes are enforced. We enforce the International Fire Code, the IFC, supplemented by Washington state codes and DOE regulations specific to Hanford through regular inspections of areas of fire risk. Our inspectors visit facilities regularly, at least monthly, at least at my facility, focusing on high-risk areas like chemical storage or nuclear waste processing zones. For older buildings with disabled sprinklers, we verify fire loading to ensure combustible materials don't exceed these safe levels. Violations lead to corrective plans with fines or operational holds for non-compliance. Application for new and existing occupancies. So new facilities like those for vitrifying nuclear waste are built to current codes under strict DOE oversight. We review plans to ensure firewalls, alarms, and sprinklers meet standards before construction begins. For existing occupancies, especially the older facilities not up to modern codes, we conduct annual or even semi-annual inspections prioritizing fire loading checks and ensuring alternative safety measures like extra fire extinguishers are in place. Now let's talk about how we determine fire resistance in Hanford's facilities. So fire resistance and testing. Local organizations determine fire resistance. We rely on standards from the National Fire Protection Association, the NFPA, and Underwriters Laboratories, UL, to evaluate fire-resistant materials in Hanford's facilities. The DOE also provides site-specific guidelines for nuclear-related structures that is also established in contracts prior to prime contractors accepting those contracts. Types of tests for fire ratings. These materials undergo rigorous testing, like the ASTM E119 fire endurance test, which measures how long components like concrete walls in Type 1 buildings, often up to 4 hours. NFPA 251 test fire doors in partitions, ensuring they contain fires effectively. For nuclear facilities, additional DOE mandated tests assess materials for radiation containment during fires critical for vitrification plants. Application to inspections and enforcement. During inspections, we verify that building components meet these fire ratings. For example, we check that firewalls in Type 2 buildings are intact and that new facilities comply with DOE and NFPA standards for sprinklers and alarms. In older facilities with disabled systems, we ensure alternative measures like increased fire loading checks are compensate for reduced fire resistance, which protects against both fire spread and radiation release if fires were to occur. Next, let's address the unsafe structures we encounter at Hanford and their unique risks. So, many of Hanford's older buildings, built in the 1940s and 50s, don't meet modern codes. Common issues include outdated electrical systems, which can spark fires, and also disabled sprinkler systems, increasing reliance on fire loading checks. Unpermitted modifications like adding partitions without updating fire barriers also create hazards, especially in facilities storing flammable or radioactive materials. Biggest hazards, so Type 2 construction radiation risks, while Type 1 construction is highly fire resistant. Type 2 construction, used in some newer and older of our industrial buildings, pose the biggest hazard. Some frameworks can weaken under high heat, risking collapse or fire spread. At Hanford, fires in these structures could release radioactive materials, which is a very unique risk given our nuclear legacy. These fire prevention this makes fire prevention critical to prevent both conflagration and environmental contamination. So, how do we improve safety for these structures? Well, let's talk about plans, plan reviews, and structural control. Improving safety through plan reviews and structural control. Plan review is a proactive means of fire protection. For new facilities like our VIT plant, we review blueprints to ensure compliance with IFC and DOE codes, incorporating advanced fire suppression systems and radiation containment measures as well. Structural control for older unsafe structures. Structural control involves retrofitting. We might add modern sprinklers, upgrade electrical systems, or install firewalls to meet current standards. In some facilities with disabled systems, we just increase fire loading inspections to mitigate these risks due to costs, and a lot of our facilities are being demolished, so it's more cost effective to do the fire loading vice bringing in brand new sprinkler systems. Impact on safety. These measures reduce fire and radiation risks, especially in Type 2 facilities, by enforcing rigorous plans reviews for the new constructions and retrofitting older facilities. we're making Hanford safer for workers and the community. Closing. So to recap and sum it all up, fire prevention at Hanford combines education, enforcement, and engineering, the three big E's. We educate workers, enforce codes through inspections and fire loading checks, and use engineering to design and retrofit safe structures. We address outdated buildings and unique radiation risks while ensuring new facilities like the VIT plant meet modern standards. So, call to action. I urge City Council to support our fire prevention efforts with continued funding for inspections, retrofitting, and community education. Together, we can protect Hanford from fire and radiation hazards, ensuring a safe future for our community. Thank you for your commitment to Hanford's safety, our safety, and your safety. As your firefighter, I'm here to answer any questions you may have. You can always email me or give me a call so we can continue this critical work and staying safe. Thank you.